Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. At 3 o'clock Eastern Time, the president hosts a roundtable on American mining. That meeting will take place at the U.S. Department of State. Usually, as you guys know, we're at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue most of the time for various coverage. We saw yesterday that Team USA reception in the East Room of the White House. Well, the president on the road very shortly over to the Department of State. As you see, beautiful skies there in Washington, D.C. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start out this Friday with, on a great note, Christian artist Jacob Bryant joins us right now. Thank you so much for joining us once again, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Definitely, man. I know you just released that new track titled 13 Stripes and 50 Stars, a great patriotic tune. Can you give us an update on things going on in the studio and maybe touring and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So we did the 13 Stripes song, which of course everybody kind of knows that's followed me for a while. I'm a huge patriot, Second Amendment supporter, all the things Christian conservative. But yeah, that song's doing really well for us, and been in the studio, like you said, recording some new tracks and working on my first full-length Christian project. You know, since we're doing the whole rebrand from outlaw country to what I'm calling outlaw Christian. So it's a very exciting thing, very exciting time.
That is an exciting time. Again, to those that did not see our first interview, the fact of the songs that you sang in outlaw country, I mean, are some of these national country songs that everyone would know, like Pour Whiskey on My Grave. You know, it's such a powerful song, but then the content's different than what you're doing now. So tell us about the content change.
Yeah, a lot of that's due to the fact that, you know, I mentioned to you in the previous interview, you know, I kind of battled with the addiction thing, you know, once we were on the road all the time and living on a tour bus and doing the whole rock star life and whatever, you know, it's really easy to let the alcohol bug bite you. And unfortunately, it bit me really good. And I finally, you know, I had to turn to God and say, man, I need help. And, you know, he led me to some great people at a place called Good Land in Recovery. I actually went to a 90-day men's discipleship program. It's for addiction recovery, but it's a faith-based thing. And it's the best thing I ever did. Gave my wife her husband back, gave my kids their dad back, gave me back, you know. It was just a lot of things I guess I was fighting or running from for a long time. I was called to do music ministry when I was 13, and I knew that, and just kind of was out doing the thing, trying to be something I wasn't, you know, and here we are now, and God's completely rejuvenated me and given me everything back in tenfold, you know, so it's amazing.
That is amazing. And then you get to use your God-given talents to perform music and to sing and to write these great songs and have some songwriters with assistance on that when you need it, if you want it. But outside of that, just to really bring that message of the true hope, you know, the true anchor of life. You know, we can have a lot of joy through Jesus, but also, you know, if somebody wants to have, you know, maybe drink in moderation, that's on their time and their watch. But the point is, moving forward in Christian music is awesome. And I don't think, are there any other outlaw Christian artists? That's pretty awesome, man.
I mean, I don't guess anybody, I guess, has labeled themselves as that, but I mean, you see stuff like Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll did the Hard Fought Hallelujah thing, which is, of course, obviously lyrically talking about a man struggling, you know, and turning to God during those times and struggles. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to be recording is probably going to be leaning in that realm, you know, of, you know, there is hope, and, you know, rock bottom may have a basement, but God is still there, and he'll reach down and grab you no matter where you're at, meet you right where you're at, you know. So that's just my goal, is to help people. That's it.
That's awesome. And on this Friday, August 7th, it's 1:34 Eastern. People are tuning in because they'll be seeing the president about 3 o'clock at the Department of State. But as we get into more of the news coverage and 24/7 news cycle, I thought having, you know, you on and bringing some music to the people, whether it's live or somebody watches this on a replay on X or True Social or wherever, I thought it would be just a great thing to do. So I understand you are in the studio and you have some new music. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe a song if you'd like to play a little bit now?
Yeah. So there's one in particular that really, you know, already grabs me that we haven't released yet. A good friend of mine, Josh Phillips, a huge songwriter, you know, he wrote Dirt Cheap for Cody Johnson. He was a co-writer on one of my songs that I wrote with him called Sometimes I Pray. Also fellow man in recovery, huge Christian. I was actually at a Cody Johnson and Ella Langley concert in Atlanta a few weeks back, and we were talking about songs for my album and stuff. And he was like, "Man, I think I really got one that, you may really like," because he actually wrote it around the time he was getting sober and whatnot. And it just totally fit, man. He sent me the song, and it was like he was handing me, the perfect thing for my record. I mean, I normally try to write, I would say 80 to 90% of everything that goes on my albums, but this one kind of hit me right in the chest, and God was saying, this was written for you to do. So we decided to cut it, and I'm super excited about it. I don't know that I'll play the whole thing, but maybe like a verse and a chorus or something, give you a little sneak peek, just because I definitely want the wow factor to be saved until the album comes out. But.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, over TV, it can be difficult sometimes, but when you get it out there on Spotify or wherever people listen to music, of course, they can listen to it perfectly on that. But sure, ladies and gentlemen, Christian artist Jacob Bryant.
There's a road that goes from going good to rock bottom. I know it like the back of my hand. Spent countless nights laid on a whiskey altar. I've stared down my demons like a man. But tonight I'm feeling nothing short of broken. And I'm down here on my knees, and I'm just hoping that there's something in this soul of mine worth saving. That there's something in this heart that you still want. And I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm praying that you can help me find my way back home. So I'm giving you this life that I messed up. 'Cause we both know the devil's had it long enough. But anyway, yeah, so it gets even deeper in the second verse, which I'm super excited about.
And I'm looking forward to the chorus on that one too. And of course, a little bit on the tech audio here. We didn't hear the guitar as much, but still, your voice, powerful content. Great song. I can't wait to listen to the rest of that. Do you? Are you going to share with us the release date on this album, or is it more kind of like you still are working on some more songs, and then you'll decide that release date at a different time?
Well, the goal is to have another single. We went in and tracked 3 songs. A song called "Why Me, Jesus," another song called "Fireproof," and then that one called "Long Enough." The goal is to release one of those as another single by the fall, and then probably another one in winter. And then I would say full album release probably late spring or summer of next year. But we still got a lot of work to do to put together, 12, 15 tracks or so. But I'll definitely be releasing some music in between now and the full album release.
That will be awesome. And a final question, what do you do from here? Your team, do you guys just start pitching to various Christian industry like tours, or how does it all work when it comes to radio and Spotify and all the things?
Well, I mean, to answer the question, in the country music world, that the answer would have been yes. We had a publicist and a radio team and a label and all the things, but this time it's just me. So I'm kind of just going to release the songs and see what happens organically. I've been put in touch with some really cool people that know some of the guys in Christian music and whatever, and just kind of letting God, hopefully open some of those doors for us. And whatever he sees fit, I'm going to do. I don't really have any crazy expectations or goals in mind, other than just try to write and release really good music and bring people to Jesus. And if something happens with it, cool. And if not, I'm doing what he called me to do. So.
That's awesome stuff. Christian artist Jacob Bryant, thanks again for stopping by here on Right Side. Have a great weekend. We look forward to hearing more of your music, and everybody check him out. Jacob Bryant, all over the place on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. But these new songs, including the recent one that is titled 13 Stripes and 50 Stars, just released in time for Freedom 250. Jacob, thanks again for your friendship to this network, man, and We'll see you around, man.
Thank you, brother.
Definitely.
God bless.
You too, man. Good stuff. Awesome stuff. Love it. Love country music, by the way. And outlaw Christian music. Interesting. It's going to be good stuff, I'm sure, as we get ready to hear some more of those releases by Jacob Bryant. Let's go to a few sponsors in the meantime on this Friday. Let's go to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You know, being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare our medicine cabinet the same way? Because that's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. And instead of searching only by medication name, you can actually now search by the medical condition itself. Whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You have that RSBN 10 promo code for 10% off. You can also call them at 561-717-6794 and talk to a real person on the other line. Also, you can go to that QR code if you'd like. So 3 ways to get to allfamilypharmacy.com. All right, let's move on to Birch Gold Group. You know, you don't wait, of course, until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector. You don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And of course, you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after the crash or the hurricane or the house fire, it's just too late. And within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. So it's just too late then. So you can diversify with precious metals now, because you never know what will threaten your savings next. Persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. You don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step. You can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from our friends at Birch Gold Group. Just text Trump to that number, 989898. There is no cost, no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or a 401k, with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898. 2 great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We have a lot coming up here on this show. Looking forward to having you stick around. But also, of course, we're going to see President Trump in about an hour and 18 minutes or so. We'll be right back here on RSBN Live.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Beautiful skies there above Washington, D.C. We'll be seeing the president. He'll be going to the Department of State here at the top of not 2 o'clock, but the top of the next hour. We have a lot to get to, though, in the meantime, including an interview with filmmaker Chris Mizet joining us right now. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Thank you, Matthew, for having me back.
Definitely. Let's get right into it. Can you give people the 411, the 30,000-foot view? If nobody's heard your story before, can you share with us your story and the situation that you find yourself in right now?
Yeah, so my wife and I were targeted for PPP loans. We live in California. This all takes place out of Hawaii, and at the same time, we were in the process. We had started this television series development years before COVID, had funding in place, and then obviously when COVID hit, it all dropped. And we reached out to different banks and different loan originators, and one of them said you can use the projections from the payroll for the TV show. So I've always had my own businesses and have had traditional SBA loans in the past, and didn't seem like a red flag because that's what they want. They want projections to make sure your business is viable, you have a plan. So applied, everything went through fine. We went and shot our teaser trailer in October of 2020. Hired a lot of out-of-work crew members that were very thankful. We're shopping it around to different streamers or even networks like CBS has a big presence in Hawaii. Mind you, this TV series was about organized crime and government corruption in Hawaii. It was a fictional character, but based around actual events that were happening in the 90s. If this program would have gone through, this would have brought tremendous income to the state. I mean, if you're looking at a deal with like a Hulu, that's $1 million to $1.5 million an episode times 10 episodes and maybe 3 to 5 seasons. You're looking at a CBS show, even at 10 episodes. I mean, their episodes, they're paying $5 million to $10 million an episode. So this would have brought a good amount of income to the state. In May of 2021, we got our target letter from the government. They seized all of our assets, even our home in California that we bought years before COVID, putting a Liz pendant so we couldn't touch the $1 million in equity in it, and we couldn't defend ourselves. After that, we finally were charged a year later, which even violates the DOJ's own handbook, saying they have to charge you or return the funds within 90 days. Then this goes on for years because we had court-appointed attorneys over there, and they're all a panel of attorneys, and they're all by trade, personal injury. So we went through that, and then the AUSA, the prosecutor, I think was just getting fed up because we were fighting as much as we could because we knew we didn't do anything incorrectly with intent. And so then he started piling on more charges, started to threaten my charges against my 78-year-old mother, who's got health issues, if we didn't, succumb to his plea. And we were out of money. We had nothing left, and we knew court-appointed attorneys would just put us through the sawmill there. So we were forced into a plea. Even our attorney said they were going to argue, because it was a $1.3 million loan. 1.1 was either seized or paid back. So our attorneys are like, well, you can, we're going to argue that it should only be a little under $200,000 the loss, and they never did that. So we got hit with the whole entire loss, and that upped our sentencing guidelines. My wife just spent 14 months in a prison, and she's finally done with her sentence while I've been advocating on the outside, and I have now less than 2 weeks before I'm supposed to go in. All the documentation, the emails from the loan originators, all the stuff the prosecutor did. I think I even told you last time I was on, like 10 days after our sentencing hearing, agents were at the foreclosure auction that the prosecutor basically forced on our family home and was bidding on the property. I mean, I have the text messages from someone at that auction saying, I've never seen that before. So there's just so many misconducts and discrepancies in our case, and all that's been submitted to the pardon department through Alice Marie and even Ed Martin. So right now, our pardon's under review with them from what we've heard from just the contacts I've made in DC. But yeah, I'm looking at a 36 months sentence starting on August 20th. My attorney has filed a motion because my parents, my mom and my stepdad my stepdad's late Parkinson's and my mom's got health issues too. And they have, even doctors recommended they need 24-hour care, and that's been on me. We have some other family, but they live in different states, and I'm literally 5 minutes from their house. So we're hoping to get that date pushed back, just so I can get them set up, because there's some financial things that are coming their way from my mom's sister passed away, and she's got to sell a house, and that will definitely help them with that 24-hour care. But I mean, even as of last night, I didn't sleep much because my attorney said, the prosecutor says that your parents are well off and they don't need the money. But just another mistake in the prosecutor's mind. He was looking at the finances of my biological dad, who I have no contact with. That guy is extremely well off. My parents live off a pension and Social Security and, make $110,000 a year. So that is not well off in any standards. So it's all kind of relying on me.
So for everyone just joining us now, this is Chris Mazzei, a director. His wife is also part of, the TV production world. And so I first was introduced to Chris through Silk, and also you've seen Silk, of course, of Diamond and Silk on the network. Roger Stone's written an article about this as well. And so what we're looking at is around COVID, you guys filed because you wanted to do this investigative, fictional style TV series about government corruption in Hawaii based on things that happened in the 90s. You were just looking to make a TV series. You filed to have, can you explain to us again what the PPP loan is? What does that stand for again? Are you there, sir? Audio problems here going on right now. Let's see.
Okay, now you can hear me. Sorry.
Yeah. So can you share with us again what the PPP loan is all about? And that's what you guys filed for and you received, and that was part of a COVID thing for business, right?
Yeah, it was a COVID thing for business, and there was even other. Barbara Streisand's company got money, and it went towards her gardener and housemates, and never even went to do stuff for her actual business. And that list goes on. And it's Martha Burns has been helping me kind of do some investigating. And I mean, they were targeting people that are conservative and Trump supporters over, the left wing leaning entertainment people, which is obviously the masses, as we all know. But yeah, I mean, it was that loan, the application was based on factual numbers in our payroll that was set up in 2019 off of the budget that we had set up for the series. So it was hard numbers. It wasn't just some made up vanity project like the prosecutor, stated in court. It was based off of actual payroll projections to do this project.
So let's just tell it like it is. Did the Biden DOJ come after you in 2021 saying you guys took this loan out, it's for frivolous things? Outside of that, when you look at the question of why do you think conservative PPP borrowers like your family were targeted while liberal-aligned entertainment companies with much bigger loans weren't? Do you think that's a bit of government weaponization there back under Biden, and now there may be, a few underling lawyers in the DOJ that are coming after you still? I mean, is that what's going on?
No one's. Our case is done. We're obviously in the now I have to go serve my time. No one's, from I know, coming after us anymore. But yeah, I mean, I believe it was Biden that set up this whole task force for the PPP. And obviously there are people that needed to go and get prosecuted. The ones you would hear on the news that worked at Taco Bell and then went and bought a Lamborghini, stuff like that. And I agree with that. To say that they were targeting just Republican or right-leaning people, that might be above my pay grade. I feel like it was that way. I don't know if we were targeted because the type of TV program we were doing was going to shine light, kind of like what Nick Shirley was doing in Minnesota and California. Obviously, he was more complete journalism. This was still a entertainment piece, but it had factual events going on in it.
And that loan was for $1.3 million. You guys paid back $1.1 million, correct? And then what was the extra $200,000? What happened there?
So that was actually used for the production of the teaser trailer that we shot in October of 2020. Okay. And then Aaron and I were owners of the business, and we were allowed to take a salary towards ourselves. So we basically, when I got the loan, I said, this money's not mine. Put it in a whole entire separate account, except for what we were told was the numbers that we were allowed to pay ourselves. So we did that. And that's what the prosecutor and the judge said, well, that when you move that money over, that's money laundering now. I'm like, well, I wasn't trying to hide anything. That was literally, I did not want that money. I did not want it in our account to be able to spend. So everything was twisted for their narrative.
Okay, so now at this point, when we see the problem, what's the solution? What would you ask right now if even one person at the administration or anybody that's watching, what is your plea? Because you said in 2 weeks, and again, everybody, if you're just joining us right now, Silk of Diamond and Silk, let me know about Chris Mizey's case. Roger Stone, of course, a longtime supporter and friend and political advisor of President Trump over the years. They're talking about this case as well. So, once those get vetted through people like that, I'm comfortable with bringing on Chris here. And this may be exactly what we're hearing is a little bit of lawfare happening. And you are facing 36 months in jail for something that you're saying, I took a loan just like any business did, and 1.1 million's already back. So what is your plea now, sir?
I mean, my plea is to the White House, because everyone else, the courts have failed, the DOJ, they got their scalp and they're moving on, at least the office out of Hawaii. So, I mean, I know this is a tough year. The administration's very tiptoeing around pardons, especially with, midterms coming up. And I don't want what happened in 2018 to happen in 2026, where the House flips. So, I would love a pardon for my family, for my kids. My kids have been suffering. They've been my oldest has been in therapy because of this now. He was a happy-go-lucky kid, and now it's just affected him. And there's just a lot of stuff that's pressure on our family with me having to leave. So, yeah, I mean, if I got a call today or next week, that would be amazing. But I also understand the pressure that the White House is under and President Trump is under. And I know President Trump knows about our case just from my talkings with Roger Stone. So, Martha Burns kind of said it to me. If you have to go in, you have to look at it like you're going to war. You're going to war for weaponized justice. And, like her husband, he had to spend a few months in before finally, that day happened and they got the phone call. So I would just, I don't want to put politics aside, but it would be nice to not have to go in for my kids' sake. And I wish the White House would see this and maybe just look at our case a little closer these next 2 weeks.
That's exactly why you're on the air here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Hopefully that is seen. Hopefully there is something that will be done, especially when, Chris, as you know, we talk about truth, receipts, evidence, facts. The truth, the receipts, the evidence, facts, from what you are saying, Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but we are praying for you and we are hoping for the best for you and your family. Thank you again for joining us here. Chris Mazzei, filmmaker. Give your best to your family from us.
I appreciate everything, Matthew. Thank you.
Definitely. Yep. Well, there you go. I mean, sometimes you got to go there, and it's easy to talk about all the other things, you know, God, family, country, and all the things I love to talk about here on the network. But when there is something that you see a problem and you can assist with a solution, hey, at the end of the day, my job is to interview people and to report news. And again, when this comes from someone like Silk of Diamond and Silk, Roger Stone and others, and we know about what it was like under Joe Biden's administration, we know President Trump has talked about over the years stopping the weaponization of government. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I didn't see all the numbers. It's just what I heard here. But let's see what happens here now over the next couple weeks for his case. Chris Mazzei, everybody. All right, it is 2 o'clock here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are live right now on the network. We'll be going to another interview in just a second. Let's go to a couple sponsors here in the meantime. MyPillow.com/RSBN. Of course, the great Mike Lindell, running for governor in Minnesota, stepped down from MyPillow as CEO as he focuses 100% of his time on that gubernatorial race. August 11th is the primary election date, so we'll see what happens in the Republican primary next week. In the meantime, great products right there. MyPillow.com/RSBN. Use that promo code. Get the deep discount on some quality products. Let's go to our next thing here on Right Side. If you'd like to donate to Right Side, all you have to do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. rsbnetwork.com/donate. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. We'll be seeing the president at about 3 o'clock here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. In the meantime, let's go to the Republican National Committee co-chair, Casey Crosby. He's joining us right now. Thanks so much for joining us, Casey.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. I'm going to go straight for towards the end of the interview question for you.
Okay.
Have the status of our elections gone so far into like a red alert national emergency mode? What do you think?
Listen, we've been all hands on deck since President Trump was inaugurated, working towards these midterms. Our biggest goal has been to make sure that President Trump is a 4-year president, and we do that by winning the midterms. So I guess from my perspective, I feel like we've been on red alert because we've been raising the necessary money. And when you look at where we are right now with the Republican National Committee, we are just killing it. We have $128 million cash on hand, while our friends at the Democrat National Committee are in debt, and we have a great slate of candidates. And on the other side, they are just in complete disaster mode. I mean, 1/3 of the Democrat voters now identify with the DSA party, and it's just insane to watch what's going on.
That's a great statistic. 1/3 on the Democrat side are on that extremist side, and that is a big number of people that are buying into something that has done nothing but cause death, destruction, and awful things, to your point, when it comes to the DSA, the Democrat Socialist of America. The midterm national convention, Dallas, Texas, I can't get enough of talking about it because it's usually something in the presidential cycle. So I'm kind of excited about it because it's in Dallas, Texas at the arena there. Your thoughts about that coming up on September 9th and 10th?
Oh, we are so excited that President Trump came up with this idea. He was like, why not have a midterm convention? And so the Republican National Committee was all excited, and we changed our rules so that we could hold this midterm convention. And it's going to be a great opportunity. We have the best messenger in President Trump. It's going to be a time for us to highlight the accomplishments of his administration. It is also going to be wonderful for us to get to highlight the amazing candidates we have, and to come together as a party. I mean, we are completely unified, and I think going into early voting that next week, we are going to be able just to highlight everything and show how unified we are as a party, and be able to get our people out to vote. It's just critical. We have to win these midterms.
And we know that we also want to see the Save America Act passed. I know that from my research, everybody, this is Casey Crosby, of course, the RNC co-chair. I believe you're in Kentucky as well in the sense of a committee woman there. Can you talk to us about the nuts and bolts of what that all looks like? How can someone else become a committee man or committee woman, or what would you encourage Americans to do right now?
Well, I think everybody needs to be involved with the Republican Party. That's what I did. I started when I was in college volunteering and going door to door and canvassing and getting out the votes, and stayed involved as a young adult. And then I served as a finance chair of the Republican Party of Kentucky. It was during a time where we were trying to become a red state. And after that, I was blessed to be elected to National Committee Woman. And so normally you get involved with your local party and your state party, and it is an election process that you go through in your states to represent your state at this level. And it's the greatest honor. And then, of course, to be co-chair of the Republican National Committee, I pinch myself every day that I get the opportunity to go out and represent the greatest president of my lifetime, as well as the Republican National Committee in this capacity. It's incredible.
It is incredible times. It's historic times. And finally, Casey, I wanted to ask you about, there's a lot of election integrity, election security, free and fair elections, too big to rig, all the slogans, all the groups that are either really known or not even really known, people that just are indirectly fighting for our country. So in that overall scope, what would you like to say to the people that have been working hard along with the RNC, just to say, hey, we're just trying to get the voter rolls clean. We're trying, like Scott Presslers of the world, all these people out there. Your thoughts about that?
Well, that's been the most amazing thing under President Trump and Chairman Gruters is we have seen unity like we've never seen before, whether it's on the grassroots sides and working with groups like Faith and Freedom and Turning Point, or on the election integrity side, where we have people like Scott Pressler who are out working hard, registering voters. It's all, we work together. We make sure that the wheels are going in the same direction. And, it's one of those things where we sort of have taken ownership from the official party standpoint with election integrity. We are currently involved in over 170 lawsuits in, I think, 36 states across the country. We have we've done freedom of information requests to ask for the voter rolls in 48 states, making sure that, only legal citizens are on those rolls and, perhaps maybe not dead people. But with that being said, we have been on the offense. I always say it's a great day. We saw Mark Elias, I think it was sometime in the past few weeks, tweet out that we are creating a lot of problems with him because of how aggressive we are with our litigation. And so it's just been nice to have everybody on the same page, unified, making sure that we protect the vote. Because if we don't have free and fair elections, we don't have a free country. And so we work very hard. It is a priority to President Trump, and it is a priority to us that we make sure we do everything we can to protect the vote.
What would you say to the 20 U.S. Senators that are Republican that said, you know what, we want to work through the August recess in order to get the Save America Act passed? Now, I don't know if it worked out that everybody's coming back, but at least they're getting the momentum going, right?
Yeah, I would say a huge thank you. As we travel the country, I know Chairman Gruters and I hear this all the time. The American people support the basic premise that you should be able to prove that you're an American citizen and show your ID to be able to vote. And we hear it as we travel the country. And so I would say thank you to those senators. And then I would also encourage anybody who's watching to get active and to make sure that they are calling their elected officials and telling them that they support this. This is not a Republican issue. Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike all support this basic premise. And so it's so important that we make sure our elections are protected and fair, and that only U.S. citizens are voting in them. So get out, call, make as many calls as you can. We elect these people to represent us, and it is important that we remind them time and time again of who they represent. And so I would say thank you to those senators, and it would sure be nice if we had a few more who would get on board, and let's get this passed.
Amen. The Save America Act to the Save America law. Hopefully we see that before the midterms. The RNC co-chair, Casey Crosby. Thank you so much, Casey, for joining us here on Right Side. Hope to have you back on the program.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. All right, so great to hear from a number of awesome patriots here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's go to a few of our sponsors in the meantime as we await the President of the United States at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. All Family Pharmacy is one of our great sponsors. Being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare a medicine cabinet the same way? That's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. And instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. So whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped to your home. You can visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, and when you're there and you maybe order a few medications, or they have vitamins, they have all sorts of stuff, so you definitely got to check it out. You can get that RSBN 10 promo code to give you 10% off at checkout. And if you want to talk to somebody and ask some questions, they'll have someone there to answer those questions. 561-717-6794. And again, instead of maybe a voice prompt or some AI thing, you get to talk to somebody that's real on the other line. Always good to do that. 561-717-6794. Let's go to our next sponsor here on Right Side. As you see, Birch Gold Group. Just text Trump to 989898 to get the ball rolling, because obviously you don't wait until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector, and you don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after that crash or the hurricane or the house fire, it's just too late. And within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. It's just too late then. So diversify with precious metals now, because you never know what will threaten your savings next. We have out there persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. We don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step, and you can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from my friends at Birch Gold Group. Just text Trump to the number 989898. There's no cost, no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or 401k, with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898. Check out that free info kit on precious metals. It's 2:11. It's Friday, and it's beautiful there in Washington, D.C. right now. Hopefully it's beautiful wherever you're watching, whether you're watching live or on replay right now. Let's take a quick commercial break. This is RSBN Live. We'll be right back.
It's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First news. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. Thanks again for watching. Let's go to, within a 24/7 news cycle, a few highlights from the Department of Justice cartel presser or press conference that happened just yesterday. Clip number 1.
Good morning. Today, the Department of Justice, in coordination with the Homeland Security Task Force, announced the unsealing of 5 separate indictments against high-ranking CJNG leaders. We're also announcing today with the State Department more than $100 million in rewards for information leading to the arrest of not only the 5 that were just unsealed today, but 3 indicted, previously unsealed cases against additional CJNG leadership. This, again, is a continuation of our efforts to eliminate cartels that have plagued this country for far too long. Narco-terrorist organizations like the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generation are responsible for countless deaths to Americans. These sophisticated organizations use violence and fear to maintain control over the importation of deadly narcotics into the United States, including fentanyl, cocaine, meth, and other illegal drugs. Their actions spread violence and death to our communities. As alleged in today's indictments and the previous indictments that were unsealed, these cartel members have been charged with a range of crimes, including running drug networks, organizing highly trained hitmen responsible for murders and attempted assassinations, procuring weapons, money laundering, and deadly drug manufacturing and distribution. 3 of the alleged cartel members were also allegedly committing a sophisticated fraud targeting elderly Americans in an alleged timeshare fraud scheme. Since January 20th, 2025, we have extradited, transferred, and secured convictions against hundreds of the world's most dangerous drug traffickers in federal courtrooms across the United States. Just last month, the co-founder of the notorious Sinaloa cartel, El Mayo, Ismael Zambada Garcia, was sentenced to life in prison in federal court in this country. The results speak for themselves. We've talked about it a lot lately, but it bears repeating here. In addition to the historic decline of violent crime just last year, we saw a 22% decline in fentanyl deaths in the United States over the year prior. Our efforts have saved thousands of lives and bringing back law and order to our communities. This mission obviously requires brave men and women in law enforcement, talented prosecutors, and steadfast partners at the state and local level and our international community. I want to thank the Homeland Security Task Force, DEA, FBI, HSI, CBP, IRS, CID, the State Department, the National Coordination Center, all of these partners working together with the Department of Justice in an all-government approach to combating terrorism. With these charges now made public, and again, these cases have been brought in 2 districts, in the Eastern District of New York, in Brooklyn, and here in Washington, D.C., and more than $100 million in rewards announced today by the State Department. The U.S. government will use all tools to bring these defendants to justice, no matter where they are. We will never allow foreign terrorist organizations to take advantage of our country. We have an important job to do, and together we will finish it. We have several speakers that are going to address you guys today, starting with our DEA Administrator, Terry Cole.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Since the inception, nearly 2 decades ago, CJNG has grown into one of the world's most dangerous and ruthless foreign terrorist organizations. CJNG was built on a vast criminal network that produces and distributes deadly drugs while sustaining its powerful influence via violence and corruption in Mexico. This includes members within the Mexican government who shield CJNG leadership from justice and facilitate drug trafficking, money laundering, and violence. CJ&G's actions have resulted in the deaths of thousands of Americans. Americans that were lost way too soon. They did this through this production and distribution of fentanyl, a weapon of mass destruction. DEA is aggressively targeting both the cartels and the corrupt government officials who are responsible for the deaths of our citizens. Today's coordinated actions against CJ&G leadership and infrastructure, including superseding indictments and rewards totaling more than $100 million in arrest, will not end. It sends a very clear message. This is just the beginning. Under the President Trump and Attorney General Blanche, this administration will use every resource, every tool to protect the American citizens. You see, this is about America first. This is about Americans first. This is a fight against CG&G that we are just beginning, and we will not back down. DEA cases have generated more than 100 federal indictments against CG&G leaders and members and associates. We are working with our international partners to arrest, extradite, and prosecute these defendants in the United States. Earlier this year, we saw the leader, El Mencho, fall to his death during a Mexican military operation for his capture. El Mencho's demise did not end CG&G. It underscores the organization's resilience and the continued threat it poses. Based on DEA intelligence, the new leader, Juan Carlos Valencia Gonzalez, El Mencho's stepson, has taken control of the cartel. In our world, El Peleon is the #1 priority of DEA. DEA is more focused than it's ever been on dismantling CG&G and bringing its leaders and members and facilitators and corrupt enablers to justice. Let me be clear. If you traffic deadly drugs, profit from the suffering of others, or use public office to protect the cartels, this is your warning. DEA is coming for you. No title, no position, or political connection will shield you. This includes cartel members like Jardinero, who was recently captured in Mexico. This includes Sapo, Hugo Mendez Gaitan, a Sicario who runs Sicario training camps deep in Mexico. This includes Trajetas, Julio Montego Pinzon. This is the same subject who attempted to kill the current security director, Omar Garcia Harfuch, in 2020. They are relentless, but so is DEA, and so is this team standing here before you. These individuals represent different parts of CG&G and their criminal enterprise, but together they demonstrate why the U.S. response must be coordinated, must be comprehensive, and must be aggressive. Cartels depend on leadership, money, logistics, corruption, coercion, and networks that cross borders. And DEA and our partners here are targeting every such network. Our work is far from over. We will disrupt your networks. We will cut off your financial lifelines. We will seize your illicit profits, and we will work with our partners to save American lives. I want to stress, this is about America first. This is about Americans first. I want to thank the Attorney General. I want to thank the Homeland Security Task Force, the NCC, and our partners that are standing here today, because partnerships allow us to succeed. And success is our goal to protect and defend the national security of our country and our citizens. DEA is on the hunt with our partners. God bless us, and God bless the United States. I'd like to turn this over to the FBI Director, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Administrator. Thank you, Attorney General. The dynamic threat landscape of the drug trafficking world unfortunately has permeated into not just deploying these lethal doses of fentanyl and other narcotics that are killing Americans at a record rate. You've heard from the Attorney General and the DEA Administrator, and you'll hear from our team, the record successes we've had, from getting the Chinese to delist the precursors that were dumping this poison to the Mexican cartels and manufacturing it down south of the border and pumping it here. You've heard that there's been an over 20% reduction in opiate overdose deaths, 22% specifically related to fentanyl. That is a monumental achievement thanks to President Trump's initiative and direction and push to manhunt federal foreign terrorist organizations wherever they exist and whatever umbrella they choose to operate under. The FBI is here today to announce 3 of individuals who are being elevated to our most wanted perpetrators around the world, not for drug trafficking, but for fraud. You've seen what the president and the vice president have done under their anti-fraud task force. And thanks to the great leadership of Attorney General Blanche, we are not just attacking healthcare fraud here in the United States of America. Our adversaries are taking advantages of the loopholes and the lack of enforcement by the prior administration to fleece our senior citizens of their valuable life savings. And they are doing it in a sophisticated manner. And it takes a whole-of-government approach, which you see here represented today, led by the Attorney General, to execute on that mission to safeguard our senior citizens. These individuals, pursuant to the New York Field Office's investigation that began a few years ago, started call centers down south and across the world. The funds they utilized and they scammed out of these call centers from senior citizens from across America totaled over $400 million. They duped our seniors using email, telephone, text message, and phishing campaigns into subscribing to a timeshare project that they falsely stood up and falsely delivered promises that our seniors would be able to enjoy their lives and their vacations, only to have that money seized from them and that vacation and their retirements deprived from them. This FBI is laser focused with our interagency partners, not just on these foreign terrorist organizations for dumping these illicit narcotics into our country, but keeping up with the dynamic threat that they pose on the fraud that they have now unleashed on our country. But thanks to this team and thanks to Attorney General Branch and thanks to the President of the United States, we are now chasing them down around the world, as Administrator Cole pointed out. This is truly remarkable work that is a partnership effort. It takes every single agency you stay up here today, and most importantly, it takes a president who is willing to safeguard Americans and put America first. And President Trump has done just that. One of the most important things for these perpetrators to know is that there is no safe haven. We will give you no sanctuary. In the month of July, the FBI executed almost 30 foreign transfers of custody in over 15 separate countries for drug traffickers, terrorists, murderers, and rapists. So what I'm here to tell you today, for all these individuals that are on the run right now, you will not be on the run for long. We will hunt you down in every corner of the planet, and we will return you here to face American justice. The numbers that we, the FBI and our partners, are returning to America to face justice from overseas is a record-breaking number. It is a direct result of President Trump's relationships with foreign governments that allow us to work in spaces we were never permitted to work before. And that is why we are delivering these historic results, returning these individuals to America for justice. And most importantly, once they are in our justice system, we have seized these funds and we are going to get them back to the senior citizens that were fleeced of their life savings and their retirements. That is the mission of law enforcement. That is the collective mission of the interagency partnerships you see here today. I'm thankful to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with these agencies, our prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and this White House, laser focused and primary importance on protecting our most vulnerable, our kids, and our elderly. And you're seeing that done here today. And this FBI, along with our interagency partners, will not rest. If anyone in the world has information on these perpetrators, 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Our best partners are those in law enforcement, but as I've always said, our truly best partners are the American citizens around the world who've got eyes and ears everywhere. We want to hear from you. Thank you.
All right, so that was just within that 24/7 news cycle yesterday at the DOJ about cartel members. Also, looking live there, of course, at Washington, D.C. We're going to see the president about 30 minutes from now. He's at the Department of State today, so he'll be there for this Roundtable. We'll get into some more details in just a minute. You know, we have a number of sponsors to get to, so let's go to kalshi.com/RSBN. Of course, you can download the Kalshi app. You can go to kalshi.com/RSBN, and there's one more way to get to Kalshi, the QR code right there on your screen. So yeah, there's a lot of different political trending topics out there to check out if you'd like. This really was something to talk about too when Spencer Pratt, back in the LA mayoral race days, was running for mayor in LA. We saw all the mail-in ballots being counted after that, and now he's not even in the race. But that was definitely something people were talking about on Kalshi. But there's a ton of issues, current events right now. People are betting, trading, or checking out polls right there on Kalshi. You can do the same if you'd like, kalshi.com/RSBN. Let's go to one sponsor before we go to our next live interview. You know, most of us know, as I mentioned a couple times, most of us know there's chlorine in our tap water. We sometimes smell it, shrug, then drink it anyway, because we've been told, hey guys, it's what keeps our water safe. But what they don't tell you is what chlorine becomes after it's added to your water. And that's exactly why it's so important to filter your water through Cove Pure, because chlorine itself isn't even the biggest problem. Chlorine levels in your water are regulated, but what's not regulated is chemicals that form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter from rivers, soil, and plant matter. So we're told when chlorine interacts with those particles, it creates chemical byproducts called THMs. The government itself calls THMs probable human carcinogens, and they've been linked to disruption of your gut and also linked to cancer. So those pitcher filters that you see at the store, they just won't fix this. They can improve the taste of chlorine, but THMs require something far more powerful, and that's exactly what Cove Pure is. They have that Clearwave reverse osmosis technology that is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. So it's not just fluoride or PFAs or chlorine or THMs or pharmaceuticals. Basically, if it isn't water, Cove Pure removes it. And this thing doesn't take up much room at all. You just put it on the counter there, you plug it in, and with a tap of a button, you get hot, cold, or warm water. So no more waiting for the kettle to boil just to make a cup of tea or coffee, which I'm looking forward to. On Saturday mornings, it's always with the family, coffee, listen to some music, watch the kids dance around to the music, that kind of thing. It's just a fun time. Anyway, back to it here. The feedback on Cove Pure from our viewers has been incredible, and people have told us that they can literally taste the difference. Clean water is one of the best investments you can make for you and your family's health. So right now, they're giving RSBN viewers $250 off if you use our link. Go to covepure.com/RSBN. Again, covepure.com/RSBN. Two great sponsors here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Before we get to our next live interview, which I'm looking forward to hearing from Pastor Lorenzo Sewell. You remember Pastor Sewell was the pastor that prayed and spoke there at the Capitol Rotunda back when President Trump was inaugurated for the second time. Remember, it was Inauguration Day inside the Capitol because it was, negative 30 wind chills at the time. I do want to get to something that's happening within the hour. The White House, the president also saying, quote, 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against a desperately needed military center required for the national security of Washington, D.C. and our country itself. Quote, we will be immediately appealing to the United States Supreme Court. The military and Secret Service are reviewing this horrendous, politically motivated, and unlawful ruling as a national security threat to our nation, and that the entire complex is being built for the protection of our country and, additionally, all future presidents. The Circuit Court's decision, which is totally wrong on the vital subject of standing, of which the plaintiff has none, severely jeopardizes the lives and welfare of the people who work and will be working at the White House, including all future presidents of the United States. Why didn't they bring this case long prior to the construction starting? There will be no expense to the American taxpayer. This unjust decision must be overturned by the Supreme Court in its entirety. This from the president earlier. And I just want to read that top part again, just in case you missed some of it. It says, we will be immediately appealing to the United States Supreme Court. The military and Secret Service are viewing this horrendous, politically motivated and unlawful ruling as a national security threat to our nation. So that statement from the president within the hour here on Right Side that we just saw. So maybe the president will talk about that as well in his upcoming roundtable discussion, which is starting in just a little bit. Let's go now to our next live interview of the day. Pastor Lorenzo Sewell joins us live, I believe, in Detroit, Michigan. Am I right, Pastor?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan, and 15 minutes from here, you have 3 Islamic communities. You have Dearborn Heights, and Hamtramck. And I'm telling you, my brother, we are up under attack like we've never seen before in the history of America.
So here's what I want to talk about out of the gate. And I know where you and I stand on this. I know where the senator from Alabama, Tommy Tuberville, stands. I know where a lot of people stand on it. Sharia law, no thanks in our country. We have a constitution. We don't want any law from any religion to be a new way that we have to live. We have the Constitution, all right? And we were built on the Holy Bible. We know that. But here's my question. To the people that are in Dearborn, do they practice Sharia law there? I mean, or the difference between a moderate Muslim who is not practicing those horrible things in Sharia? You know what I mean? So what do you think about that, Pastor? Are we seeing
I've been living it. You know, I'm 45 years old. I've lived in Detroit my entire life. There is no one that engages more Muslims on a daily basis than I do and the Black Americans in Detroit outside of the Middle East. I mean, literally on Sunday, you can't make this up, the gospel was preached and a man was stoned for it. They are already living up under Sharia law. Hamtramck is the only city where you can literally sacrifice animals. It's happening right now. In Texas, they are building more mosques per clip than churches. They're building about 3 to 4 mosques every month in Texas. And you can't make this up. In Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Department of Justice is suing because Islam says that they want to build a 37,000 square foot facility. This is happening right now. We've already lost our country. Look at Zohran Mamdani. Look at Abdul Al-Sayed. Look at Hassan Piker. Look at Rashida Tlaib, and the list goes. And they have a bench. This is the part we don't understand as conservatives. They have a bench that's stretching so long of Islamic jihadists that want to take our country over.
It's as simple as that. So is it a mic drop from there, end of story, or is it also, again, now I'm playing the other side just a little bit here because over the years, as you know, you remember politically correct, you got to be politically correct. Screw politically correct. What is the truth, right? What is the truth? So I want to draw a fine line here when it comes to someone, again, that if they're practicing any faith in America, which you're allowed to do, but the Sharia law aspect is a governance thing. It's a way of life thing, and you get penalized if. And let's dive into Sharia a little bit. Isn't there child marriage? Isn't there, if you don't submit, do you die? Do you get your fingers cut off? Like how awful is the real Sharia law through and through? And how much are the people in Dearborn wanting to actually practice that law? So can you repeat that again or share with me a little bit more as we dig a little deeper into this subject that a lot of people are talking about?
The problem is we're Christians and we got big hearts. We love the Lord and we don't want to think about a death cult. We don't want to think about Islam being a literal death cult. What they are focused on is one thing, making sure that people like us allow them into their communities, think that they're moderate, they're practicing taqiyya, they're lying to us. And right now in the city of Dearborn, you have multiple men with multiple wives, and our government's paying for their rent. That's happening right now, right? They exercise Sharia law through their mosque, right? They don't care about whatever's happening at our courts. They have their own courts. Literally, the gospel of Jesus Christ was being preached on Sunday, and someone was stoned almost to death.
Are you talking about in Michigan? This happened just recently
Absolutely.
In Michigan? Why haven't
Absolutely.
I usually hear these stories. Well, the mainstream media is not going to cover that, are they?
Of course not. So actually, the guy's my personal friend. And the problem is
he was stoned to death. And are you telling me there was somebody that was killed?
They almost tried. He ran for his life. He ran into a cop car. I can't make this up. His name is Jake Lang. So Jake was here. He said the gospel of Jesus Christ. He literally said that Dearborn belongs to Jesus. And when he said that, He got beat. They began to stone him. They ran him down. And by the way, while they're doing that, they're using the N-word the entire time. Where did these Arabs, yes, you can't make it up. They're beating him. He's running for his life. He runs into a cop car and the cop does nothing. Now, why doesn't the cop do anything? Because the cop knows that Dearborn is really up under Sharia law and not up under the laws of the United States of America.
Wow, dude. So when we go, if you and I and a group traveled to any country on earth, we physically shouldn't be saying, oh, we see that skin color, we see that skin color, but we do. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm white, you're black. Ooh, like, okay. But my point is, or someone's Arab or whatever, not by the skin color at all, though. It's by what ideology you're practicing. Is it Sharia law? Are you trying to bring something that is anti what this country's about? That's what this is about. The mainstream media wouldn't touch it, would they?
They never would. And here's the brutal reality. In America, we have 108,000 cities. Out of those cities, approximately 1,000 of them are majority black, and you have 3 majority Arab cities: Dearborn Heights, and Hamtramck. I cannot go to Israel. I can't go to Iran. I can't open up the New Testament and begin to tell every Jew that's praying on the Wailing Wall for Sabbath, if you don't give your heart to Jesus, you're going to hell. I can't go to Iran. Why? Because it's not their culture. Just like we don't want Muslims coming over here making their religious law greater than our laws. For 250 years, we're the greatest country known in human history, and there's a reason being. We are a Judeo-Christian nation. They need to submit and they need to assimilate. The problem is they won't do that. They're looking to take over. Look at Rashida Tlaib, Abdul al-Sayed. Look at what's happening. Look at Omar over there in Minnesota. It is nonstop. They are putting people in there in political positions. There is a judge right now in LA County that just got appointed by Gavin Newsom, who sued the county because they wouldn't practice Sharia law. You can't make it up. It's happening all throughout our nation right here on our watch. But I believe that Jesus is saying enough is enough.
Wow. Let's look at London. Let's look at Ireland. Let's look at Europe. We're already seeing this kind of stuff happen. How about the Irish guy who was actually, I think, assisting with some of the refugees there, and someone that believes in the submit or die or all of that going on with Sharia and extremist Muslim, tried to, and I'm sorry to say, but this is what happened. There's video proof. This is a story you can check out. They tried to cut the guy's head off. He was using a knife, and the guy survived because the Irish people started just going against the dude that was doing that. But that's the stuff we've seen in Europe. We're seeing, to your point, with what happened to your friend there. Yeah. So what's the solution then, Pastor? What are we going to do? Pass the Save America Act. I mean, but also, should we go against those that are practicing Sharia law here? Should our government say you can't practice a foreign law in our country, but you are? Like, is that the solution?
Well, this is the solution. Arabs only represent 3.5 million people in America, which is approximately 1%. In my state, Michigan, where you have 3 majority Arab cities, they only represent 500,000 people. They're very, very small percentage. We need to remind them how small they are. That's why on August the 18th, me, Jake Lang, we're bringing people from all over the country. We're going to Dearborn, and we're reminding them that this is a Christian nation. Get in your place. If you want to worship Allah, you want to read the Quran, no big deal. But you will not practice Sharia law on our watch, and you will not supersede our beliefs in this country with your religious beliefs.
Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, of course, we've seen him, we've heard him on the national scale there with President Trump back on January 20th of 2025 in the U.S. Capitol. That powerful prayer, it's still ringing in my ears, sir. Thanks so much for joining us, the pastor there at, it's 180 Church in Detroit, correct?
180 Church, yes.
All right. Well, I'm sure you're going to be lighting it up on Sunday, man. You'll be letting it go. You should play this clip on the big screen on Sunday. You know, might as well. Yes. Tell everybody I said hi.
All right, God bless.
Right, see you, man. Great stuff there by the pastor. I mean, hey, again, what's true, what's really happening, you know? Anyway, wow. If you're just joining us, we also shared with you some information from the White House about 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against the desperately needed military center there. President Trump responding to that. I'm sure he'll have more to say coming up at the top of the hour. Let's go to a few of our sponsors in the meantime, including All Family Pharmacy. Being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare our medicine cabinet the same way? That's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. So instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. So whether you're dealing with a sinus infection or respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medication, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. And all you have to do to get everything started is right there. You see it, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. At checkout, use the RSBN 10 promo code. You get that 10% off. If you have any questions at all, you have live agents, as they say, but how about U.S. physicians, pharmacists, and staff over at All Family Pharmacy that you could talk to if you have any questions at all? 561-717-6794. Let's go to our next sponsor here on right side. You see it right there, Birch Gold Group. You don't wait until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector. You don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane. And of course, you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after the crash or the hurricane or the house fire, it's just too late. And within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. It's just too late then. Diversify with precious metals now, because you never know what will threaten your savings next. You know, there's the persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. We don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step. And you can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from our friends at Birch Gold Group. All you have to do is just text Trump to 989898. There's no cost when you do that, no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or 401k with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898. Great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. And a shout out to all of the donors to RSBN over the years. Thank you so much for donating to Right Side and all the great sponsors over the years, including all the ones that you see day in and day out here on the network. Without those sponsors, without those donations, what would RSBN be able to do? Obviously, it takes money to keep things going. And also, what's awesome is we're not bought and paid for by some woke corporation. I know I mentioned that sometimes, which is always good, right? Because if we were at a place where it was like mainstream media and you have all these huge sponsors, they're pushing on, you got to say this, or you get away from that topic, can't say this, you know? That's anti-free speech, isn't it? Anyway, let's go now to Bethany Miller, of course, the communications strategist and also comms director at NRB, National Religious Broadcasters. You have quite the title, managing editor at the Conservator. The list goes on. Bethany, thanks for joining us once again.
It is a mouthful, isn't it? But that's what we do in media. We do it all. So thank you for having me back on. Always a joy.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go right into some of the Gen Z messaging out there, the winning messaging to the strategy for conservatives for women specifically under 40.
You know, I think something that we don't do enough is look at the other side. And, you know, I know we always want to say, this is what the DSA is doing wrong. These are the wrong policies. Absolutely. But sometimes we need to open up and go, what are they actually doing well that we could learn from? And something about Mondami's campaign was it was digitally fluent and it got the young female vote. It got the young vote in general because he prioritizes digital media and social media to promote his policies, make it understandable, make it resonate with his audience, make it resonate with New Yorkers who are very creative. He knew his audience. And I think that's something as conservatives we could do even better is really dumb down our media and take political jargon and make it understandable for Gen Zers. I think the Trump administration is doing that really well right now at the White House, but I'd love to see that more and more at the polls and with our candidates.
Yeah, and we're seeing that happen for a number of candidates, but not, you're right, a whole swath of them. We don't see all of that. So then you're probably a huge fan of whoever made those AI videos for Spencer Pratt, because I know that it was not Spencer Pratt's team. He just started saying, these things are good, I'm going to use them.
Absolutely. Pratt's another great example of a good campaign. I think he understands that typically when you're in the grassroots campaign, you typically, okay, I need a comms advisor, I need a social media person, but it's an afterthought. But I feel like Pratt was a really good example of we need to make sure we prioritize that because, again, that's another area like New York. LA is very creative. He knew his audience. He knew exactly what he's trying to reach for. And then you see this with Fishback as well. And that's an interesting race to watch. But you see how he's doing rallies in Taco Bell. He knows his audience. He's trying to get the young votes. It's very interesting to watch. I mean, these are three different various candidates, but I think that's something that we can do better and work to refine even more. So I'm grateful our administration is pushing that, but I'd love to see more and more of that Gen Z outreach through social media.
Messaging, the optics, and the public opinion, the court of public opinion, aren't those, and then you just add the information war into that category. That's what this is all about, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's a crazy day and age we live in today that we actually have to take the extra step and think through messaging, not just in mail ballots, not just in knocking door to door, because we're actually learning door to door doesn't actually work as well with this current generation. It is the meta ads. It is the digital. It is, and yes, our conservative, our values, our policies aren't going to change, but it's how we message and how we package that and how we reach the American public. And again, that's sectioned out. You're going to reach Gen X and boomers and millennials differently than you are going to reach Gen Z and women, because we have to remember at the end of the day, the DSA does not own women messaging. We just let them win it. We can win it back when we tell them, hey, this is actually what it means to be pro-woman. And this is actually the definition of women's rights. And women's rights is a pro-American value. You have all kinds of women's rights here in America. But the one thing is the DSA owns it because they blast it all over social media and say women's right means full access to abortion. Well, why did we let that happen? We need to take to social media and explain this is what it means to be a pro-woman candidate. This is what it means to have pro-American policies. And this is how we take back America. And that all starts with social media.
Of course, the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America. Wow. How about, hey, if you like socialism or communism, go to China, go somewhere else, go to North Korea, see what it's like there to be controlled by a government. Go ahead, have fun with that. Like, we don't want that here. Don't they get the point? And we have a mass majority of people that are not into the DSA and other things. But to your point, though, the brainwashing that happens if you say something like, women's rights and abortion and all that, they just keep hitting the message. They just keep going until somebody's like, okay, fine. I believe that too. Isn't that sometimes how easy it is for some people? Not everybody, but some people.
It is. And I actually do think it is a large majority of people. We have to remember that not everyday Americans are completely just brought down into political jargon all the time. And most American people clock in that it's political season here in Nashville, Tennessee. We just had our primaries. We just voted the other day. And I think most civilians are going to go, I'm going to vote. All right, I'm clocking back out, going back to my 9 to 5, going back to my civilian life, never think of it again. So we have to remember that those are a large majority of the American public. And that's how we have to communicate to them. But ultimately, they will hear, oh, that's not empathetic to push out a 5-year-old who was detained by ICE. I can't vote for somebody like that because I saw some influencer somewhere posted this and now I believe it. But that's how simple that our brains have become mush. And that's how we hear policies today, when ultimately that's when we got the candidates out there explaining exactly in their, nicely neat, in their suits, in their polished ways, this is actually my policies. And that works great. We should keep doing that. But we need to make sure we take to social media and get the word out. And we actually put them in 30-second reels that perform well in the algorithm, that are aesthetically compelling, because that's how messaging gets out today. Like I said, it was door to door back in the day. It's not that anymore. It's algorithm to algorithm. It's platform to platform. And we got to make sure that our truth and our policies are getting out there in the way that the public consumes them. And that is on Instagram. That is on TikTok. That is on X.
It's counteracting the information from the left. They use that emotional blackmail, which Alvin Louis discusses when he's on the program here with Courage is a Habit. He dives really far into these ways of thinking and just to make sure we kind of get unlocked or detoxed from a certain messaging point that we keep hearing from a certain, institution or whatever. But isn't it awesome now, though, to close up the interview, the fact that we are not sheeple. We don't just, yes, that's what you said, okay, that we don't think for ourselves, right?
Right, absolutely. And I think we're seeing that right now with Fauci. We aren't. We shouldn't be. We never should be. It is okay to wake up. It is okay to say, hey, that's not right. Hey, that's not America. And it's okay to get up and go, I don't recognize my country anymore because I let the DSA take over. It's okay to look around and say, this isn't very American anymore, what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. We shouldn't be sheeple. Even if we think that these political candidates are going the way we should, and we think, oh, they understand it, I'm going to let them do their job. No, we are we the people for a reason. So get up, vote pro-American. And if you don't want Dearborn, Michigan to happen in your back state, if whether it's Texas, whether it's Tennessee, that's all contingent on you as we the people.
Amen. Bethany Miller, the communications strategist and also managing editor at Conservator. Is it conservator.com or what's the website to get there?
You got it. Conservator.com. That's where you can find us.
Awesome. And also the comms director at the National Religious Broadcasters, Bethany Miller. Thanks again for joining us here on Right Side.
Always a joy to be on.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, great to get some insight there when it comes to Gen Z and how the messaging needs to happen and that kind of thing. Always insightful. Let's go to Kalshi.com/RSBN in the meantime. So Kalshi.com, as you guys may have heard, there are a lot of political trending topics on there. And a lot of times we talk politics on the network. Sometimes we talk weather. Sometimes we talk sports. And then, of course, we talk 24/7 news cycle. So I'm going to Kalshi quickly here. And I'm going to go to this time, I'm going to go to sports just for kicks, right? So you've got the Pinnacle Bank Championship. You got golf here, tennis, cricket, nice. Esports, all sorts of stuff here. There's crypto, there's commodities, metals, gold right now, silver. So a lot of different details on there. So when I talk about those different trending topics, it's not just politics and elections and all that, but there's a lot there. So check it out. A lot of trending topics going on right now. So go to Kalshi.com/RSBN, download the app, or just go to the QR code that you see right there on your screen. Let's go to our next sponsor here on Right Side. Cove Pure, of course, a great sponsor here on Right Side Broadcasting Network because, most of us know there's chlorine in our tap water. Sometimes you can smell it. Sometimes you shrug and just drink it anyway because you think it's safe because we've been told it's what keeps our water safe. But what they don't tell you is what chlorine becomes after it's added to your water. And that's why it's really important to filter your water through Cove Pure, because we're told chlorine itself isn't even the biggest problem. So chlorine levels in your water, they're regulated. But what's not regulated are these chemicals that form when chlorine reacts with naturally occurring organic matter from rivers, soil, and plant matter. We're told when chlorine interacts with those particles, it creates chemical byproducts called THMs. The government itself calls THMs, quote, probable human carcinogens. They've been linked to disruption of your gut. They've also been linked to cancer. So the pitcher filters that you see at the store, they just won't fix this because they improve the taste of chlorine, but THMs require something far more powerful, and that's exactly what Cove Pure is. Their Clear Rave reverse osmosis technology is certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. So it's not just chlorine or THMs. The fluoride that's in the water, PFAs, pharmaceuticals, basically if it isn't water, Cove Pure removes it. And this thing doesn't take up much room at all. It could sit it right on the kitchen counter or wherever you'd like. You just plug it in. You don't have to call someone in to install it. You could just get hot, cold, or warm water with a tap of a button. And finally, the feedback on Cove Pure from our viewers has been incredible, and people have told us they can literally taste the difference. Clean water is one of the best investments you can make for you and your family's health. Right now, they're giving RSBN viewers $250 off if you use our link there. So it's covepure.com/RSBN. covepure.com/RSBN. All right, so that brings us to almost 3 o'clock, and that is the time that President Trump is having a round table. The president hosts a roundtable on American mining. That meeting will take place at the U.S. Department of State, so we'll have to wait for the specifics there when it comes to that live feed. As soon as we see it, we'll take you there. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, happy Friday. This is RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on the network.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Beautiful, beautiful blue skies there with some clouds, of course, in Washington, D.C. Thanks again for live streaming in with us as it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 12 o'clock out there on the West Coast. If you're just joining us, we had a number of guests join us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Everybody from Pastor Lorenzo Sewell out of Detroit, Michigan, Casey Crosby, the RNC co-chair, and the list goes on. So if you missed any of those interviews, including Jacob Bryant, who, if you are into country music, this song called Pour Whiskey on My Grave. That's the song, but it's a powerful one. It's a good country tune. Well, it's outlaw country, right? Well, now Jacob, after just some stints at rehab, he even said it, is going Christian in the sense of Christian artist, in the sense of Christian outlaw music. He joined us earlier, played a little bit of a song. It was awesome to have him on the network. So if you get a chance on X or Truth Social or on Rumble, YouTube, wherever you watch our coverage, if you could do us a favor, I haven't asked this ever, but those of you watching live right now, those of you that do have a Truth Social account, X account, Rumble, wherever you're watching, go ahead and like, subscribe, retruth, retweet, or repost, as they say on X now. So anyway, these are some pretty good interviews that happened today, so it's great to be able to have that opportunity here. Also, let's go to specifically the White House, because within the hour, the White House, the president saying 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against the desperately needed military center required for the national security of Washington, D.C. and our country itself. The president says we will be immediately appealing to the United States Supreme Court. And also the military and Secret Service are viewing this horrendous, politically motivated and unlawful ruling as a national security threat to our nation, in that the entire complex is being built for the protection of our country and additionally all future presidents. So this is a statement that we read to you earlier, just going to continue on with that. The circuit court's decision, which is totally wrong on the vital subject of standing, of which the plaintiff has none, severely jeopardizes the lives and welfare of the people who work and will be working at the White House, including all future presidents of the United States. President Donald Trump saying, why didn't they bring this case along prior to construction starting? There will be no expense to the American taxpayer. This unjust decision must be overturned by the Supreme Court in its entirety. So that from the president earlier today, as we are live on this Friday. Let's go now to a few statements from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue as well. More along the same lines, but this time regarding our elections. Something that we go over from time to time here at the network because, of course, important information about our election system. Before we do that, let's quickly go to a couple of our sponsors here on Right Side, including All Family Pharmacy. You know, being prepared is something Americans have always understood. We prepare our homes before a storm. We prepare our finances for the unexpected. So why wouldn't we prepare our medicine cabinet the same way? That's one of the reasons so many families are choosing All Family Pharmacy. They've made it easier than ever to find the prescription medications you need. And instead of searching only by medication name, you can now search by the medical condition itself. Whether you're dealing with a sinus infection, respiratory illness, or you're simply looking for your everyday maintenance medications, All Family Pharmacy helps point you toward the treatment options commonly used for those conditions. Everything is reviewed by licensed U.S. physicians and pharmacists, so you can feel confident you're getting trusted information. Just complete a secure medical form, and if appropriate, one of their licensed physicians will provide your prescription. Then your medication is shipped directly to your home. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Use code RSBN10 to get you a 10% off at the checkout. Also call 561-717-6794 and speak with a real person instead of maybe a voice prompt. That person will help guide you in the right direction with any questions you have when it comes to medicine, infections, all the things that they offer there when it comes to medicine to take care of infections and bacteria and viruses and all of that. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Maybe we have one more sponsor. Let's go to Birch Gold Group. Of course, you don't wait until your house is on fire to install a smoke detector, and you don't wait until the wind and rain hammer your windows and the power goes out to prepare for a hurricane, and you don't reach for your seatbelt after the impact, because after the crash or the hurricane or the house fire, it's just too late. Now, within that framework, you don't wait until the dollar goes to zero before you buy gold. It's just too late then. So you can diversify with precious metals now, because you never know what will threaten your savings next. Persistent inflation, a weakening dollar, unexpected financial disruptions. You don't know what's coming, but you can take a preventative step. You can do that right now by requesting a free info kit on gold from our friends at Birch Gold Group. All you have to do is text Trump to that number, 989898. There's no cost, no obligation, just straightforward information on how you can diversify your savings, even an IRA or 401k with gold. We trust Birch Gold. You can trust them too. Text Trump to 989898 here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're hearing that there may be, a few minutes until we go to the president there, as you see right there on your screen. We know that the president will be having a roundtable discussion. This is about American mining. That's happening in just a few minutes from now. This time, not at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but at the U.S. Department of State. Speaking of the Department of State, I've never been there, but I've been to the White House, been to the Pentagon, but never been to the Department of State. Maybe sometime for some coverage, we'll see. Anyway, speaking of the Department of State, also the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, out there doing a great job. We see that Pete Hegseth with the Department of War finally taking the handcuffs off of the military. If you think about back in the day under Biden, it was all about woke and DEI and trans this and that. And it's like, wait a minute. This is the United States military and you're talking about wokeism? Talk about so far off from what a U.S. Armed Forces military member is. And talk about so far off of what we the people are. From the beginning of our nation 250 years ago and change now that it's past July 4th. So again, thank you for watching here on Right Side, as it's just about 7 minutes after the hour. I'm going to double check if there are any news headlines. We see that President Trump, of course, President Trump signed executive orders targeting birthright citizenship and birth tourism. Of course, we saw that just yesterday here on the network when President Trump signed some of those executive orders in a moment in time that we thought that was closed press. Well, you never know with President Trump. Sometimes it goes from closed to open. Well, this one is open press, of course, as you see. This one's not closing. Coming up here in just a few seconds, we'll be tossing it to the State Department. And, of course, stick with us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, even through the weekend online. If there's major breaking news, that kind of thing, we're here for you. And we have a number of events to cover coming up, including in Dallas, Texas, for that RNC midterm national convention on September 9th and 10th. And then later in September, September 24th, the president of China, Xi Jinping, will be at the White House. We'll have that coverage as well, but a lot of other coverage from now until then as it is only August 7th. So thanks again for watching. You can follow us on Truth Social at RSBN or on X at RSB Network. Let's go to the State Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
That's a very nice song. I love that song because that means you won, basically. If we didn't, we wouldn't hear that song very much. But I want to thank everybody, special people, people that built our country are here. And you really haven't. I was just looking at my notes, and I could do this one without any notes because there's a great love for what you do. And I think you haven't been treated well for many years. But you're making up for it now. You're really making up for it now. So it's an honor, and I'm delighted to be here at the Department of State to announce some of the largest ever investments in American mining. A great thing mining is. We're putting our miners back to work, and we're reclaiming America's rightful place as the minerals superpower of the world, which is what we are. People just didn't know that for a while. I want to thank our great Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, for hosting us. It's a beautiful building, but you know, I look at the president's allowed to remove things from any building. And I'm liking the chandeliers. I like those Corinthian columns, but I don't know, cutting them out would be not good. Those are beautiful columns, but I'm allowed to do it. Every once in a while, I'll come in here and grab a painting and put it at the Oval Office, right? But not too much. But I want to thank Marco. I want to thank Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum, who's done a fantastic job. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, likewise, and as well as Executive Director of the National Energy Dominance Council, Jared Agan. Thank you, Jared. And thank you all. I love that, the Dominance Council. I've never heard that one before. That's a hell of a name. Where's Jared? Where's Jared? Right there. Hi, Jared. I like that. Did you make up that? Did you come up with that?
That's all you, sir. You came up with that one.
I think it's pretty good. Thanks as well to the leaders of many of America's great mining companies who are here and educational institutions are also joining us today. 250 years ago, America won our political independence in the Revolutionary War. In my first term, we secured our energy independence, and now in my second term, we're achieving our economic independence, ensuring that America is never again reliant on hostile foreign nations for the resources our country needs to dominate in the future. And we have plenty of those resources. Critical minerals are the raw materials of American strength that power everything from advanced weaponry to automobiles, and we want these essential products to be mined, refined, and made right here in the USA. With the American skill and American hands. We have better skill and we have better hands than anybody in the world. For decades, politicians let other countries steal our mines and mining jobs. They'd close up mines. They'd buy a mine and close it because it was good for them and put American producers out of business. The United States lost more than 3,400 mines. Oh, can you imagine? 3,400. I thought they were going to say miners or jobs. It's mines. 3,400 mines over the past 3 decades. That's sad. But now they're coming back, and they're coming back faster. Many of those mines are being reopened, and a lot of new mines are being built. Over the past 18 months, our administration has signed or approved more than 160 minerals deals worth nearly $40 billion. And today, the United States is opening up new mines at the fastest pace since the 1950s. Nobody's seen anything like it. And that goes for auto plants too, and AI, and so many other kinds of plants. We have 9. Think of this: we have, in a short period of time, a year and a half, and it's the numbers are for the first 12 months actually, but figure a year and a half, we have $19.2 trillion being invested. The previous administration had much less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We have 19.2 in actually 12 months, but we'll add something to it. So it's now going to be over $20 trillion. And by the way, no country ever in history has done anywhere near that number. We're 5 to 6 times higher than certain of our competitors, from very successful competitors, but we're much higher. Nobody's seen what's happening today in our country. Nobody has seen anything like it. And hopefully you'll see it again, but only for us. I think it's going to be hard to match, however. Today, the United States is opening new mines at the fastest pace, and we opened the first American rare earth mine in more than 70 years. What's that all about, Marco? We've announced the construction of the first new aluminum smelter since 1980. It's going to be a big one. I mean, if it's the same one, building a massive, beautiful job producing smelter in Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma because they have 77 counties. I won all 77 3 times, right? You know, oh, he's looking, right? Nobody's, you know who second was? Ronald Reagan, 56. That's pretty good, right? I like Oklahoma. We authorized deep sea mining to unlock vast untapped resources off our coast. And we're rebuilding the national defense stockpile and investing more than $12 billion in a brand new strategic mineral reserve. And we're protecting American workers with historic tariffs on foreign copper, aluminum, steel, so that our people are protected. And the tariffs are what made this so successful, the proper use of tariffs, but they're really what made this so successful. You probably heard me during my campaign. I used to say, the word tariff is my favorite word, and the fake news, see them back there? They're all back there. And they'd say, what a terrible thing to say. What about God, wife, country, love? I said, it's all right. So I made it my 5th favorite word. Now I have no problem. Oh, they hit me hard when I said tariff was my all-time favorite word. It didn't play well, but it's a solid number 5, and now I'm okay. But American miners have never had a greater champion in the White House than President Donald Trump. And before I took office, federal mining permits took 3, 4, or even 5 years. Now they take as little as 25 days. So we went from 5 years for approvals to get them, and nobody was doing it anyway. Took too long and just wasn't working. So now we go from 5 years to 25 days for approval. Under the Great Big Beautiful Bill, we secured an unprecedented $100 billion to underwrite critical investments in our mineral supply. And for the first time ever, we are even making direct equity investments in critical mineral production. Last July, the Department of War took a $400 million stake in MP Materials, which is already worth nearly $1.2 billion. It's gone up greatly in value. I did one of those too, but not quite in the same business. Intel, we had a problem with Intel, and we settled the problem. They gave us 10% of the company. That was worth $12 billion. And since we had the company, you probably been watching, the stock has gone up many, many times, just about number 1. And we made $82 billion. Do I get credit for that? No. Did anybody say, great job? And by the way, it's for the country. It's not for me. It's for the country. I have to be very plain about that. But no, we've made about 80, Howard, it's pretty close to 80 billion, a profit of $80 billion by helping the company out. We're doing it a lot, actually. We're doing it a lot. Today, we're taking another historic action toward the future of American mining. For years, mining schools and colleges that are essential to training the future leaders of this industry have been absolutely and sadly disappearing. Accredited mining programs in the United States now graduate less than 170 mining engineers each year, while China graduates more than 3,000, and half of our current mining workforce is set to retire within the next 3 years. Well, that's why my administration is making an unprecedented financial commitment to our nation's mining schools. It's going to keep us nice and young and vibrant. The schools came to us seeking $10 million per year in funding. Instead, I'm thrilled to announce that we're delivering $100 million to train the next generation of American miners. And you have a lot of you are in the room right now. And, you know, I'm not doing that because I'm a nice person. I'm doing that because it's great for the country. It's great for the country, and it also helps a lot of people. And they want to mine. You know, I've seen it, and we had a little campaign against somebody named Hillary Clinton, and she wanted the miners of West Virginia to learn how to make chips, little tiny chips with their big, strong hands. And they were not, I won by 55 points. They were not thrilled. They didn't want to be doing, they wanted to be in the mines. That's what they want to do. They don't want to do anything else. I remember that. It was so unbelievable. It was very, very good for me. I tell you what, she didn't get that. We did very well with that kind of thinking. But we're also making major grants to the Colorado School of Mines, the South Dakota School of Mines, and the Johns Hopkins RTX partnership. And together those grants are worth $81 million. Going to train people, work with people, and we're going to put you right back on the front pages. That's what you have to be. In addition, today my administration is announcing a series of historic mining projects worth $3 billion, which will create thousands of jobs and promote our economic stability and security. The Department of War's Office of Strategic Capital is signing a massive $1.4 billion loan agreement with Sealand Nanotechnologies to build a next-generation battery facility in Washington State using what we have right under our feet. The Export-Import Bank is working to provide more than $1 billion to finance the Ivanhoe Electric's Santa Cruz Copper Project in Arizona, one of the biggest anywhere in the world. The Ex-Im Bank is launching the Alabama Graphite Project, a $25 million investment, as well as the Fort Cady Integrated Boron Facility in Southern California. And it's going to be something. We broke through the environmental disasters. You had environmental people, look, I'm an environmental person, believe it or not, but you had people that were just stopping it. They were using the environment to stop all of these things. The Department of War is investing $400 million to expand production of scandium, one of the world's most valuable aerospace and defense materials in Australia. The Department of War is also investing $150 million with Niron Magnetics in Minnesota. Minnesota? Wow. What the hell happened to Minnesota? The governor's totally corrupt, but we won't talk about that now. That's for another day. Corrupt and incompetent, a bad combination. To build rare earth magnets. Magnets, you got to go with magnets. That's a good one. Everybody should go for magnets. They're really badly needed. And Global Advanced Metals will build a major new factory in southeastern Pennsylvania to support cutting-edge defense and aerospace systems. Together, we're reawakening the spirit of the gold rush, the prospectors and the great pioneers of this country, people who built the United States of America. And very simply, we're making mining great again, and the United States is doing better than it's ever done, maybe ever done. So I just want to thank you, and I'll now ask Secretary Rubio to say a few words, and then we'll hear from some of the wonderful people we have up here, Secretary Burgum, in this order, Secretary Lutnick, Executive Director of the University of Arizona School of Mining and Engineering and Minerals, Cray Luxbacher, President of Colorado School of Mines, Paul Johnson, CEO of MP Materials, Jim Latinsky, who I know your brother. He's a nice guy, by the way. I assume it's your brother. Where is, right? That's right, Andy.
Yes.
Your brother?
Yes.
Okay, well, he's a smart guy, and so
Thank you.
And President of Resolution Copper, Vicky Pesce. So we'll go. I didn't know I was going to have so many people. I'll be here all day. If you could go quickly, I would appreciate it, because we have a war to prosecute, okay? That's my excuse for getting out of here a little bit early. But I've done my thing only in the sense that we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars in bringing your industry back. And we need your industry. We're not doing you favors. We're doing ourselves favors. We need your industry. People wouldn't talk about it, but we do indeed. Marco, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming to the State Department. We like this room a lot, too, and obviously, don't look back. There's a painting up here. Just, uh-oh.
That's a good one. I'm taking it with me.
I shouldn't have said anything. But anyway, Mr. President, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership on this topic. It's a challenge we face in this domain that actually goes to the very survival of the country. And thank you for giving it a priority in your presidency. This has been going on for 25 years. We've been walking away from the importance of this, and now we're trying to make up for 25 or 30 years of mistakes under your presidency. So we appreciate your presidency valuing this when other presidents did not. The group of people that are here today represent the whole nation effort that's involved in this. It's because at the core of this is our industrial strength, but also our national sovereignty, that we never depend on other countries for things we need to prosper and to defend ourselves as a people. And so you'll see here today, as you've already pointed out, we have leaders not just from government, but from universities, from private industry, from students who are going to be the future of this industry. I wanted to very briefly touch on what the State Department's done. You know, earlier this year we had a critical minerals ministerial. We brought in countries from all over the world and announced the creation of something called FORGE, which is an international partnership chaired by us in the United States to leverage public finance and coordinate diplomatic support to secure these supply chains around the world. At that meeting, we signed 11 new critical minerals agreements with countries adding to the ones that already existed. Today, under your administration, we've already signed 27 critical mineral agreements with other countries. We also, under the leadership of someone who needs to be recognized, our Undersecretary Jacob Hellberg. I don't know if Jacob is here, but Jacob's been phenomenal. He came up with something called Pax Silica, and it's an initiative that leads our efforts to partner with the private sector and invest in mining and refining and in processing, as well as the end-use applications of that. There's still a lot of work left to do, but we at the State Department are willing to utilize our unmatched global presence, our presence all over the world to ensure that we're working on this. And we're committed to working with industry, with universities, with all the elements of our national power to bring this about. And so thank you, Mr. President, for prioritizing this. And I think we all look forward to working not just nationally, but with our allies around the world to ensure that we have supply chains that are diversified and reliable, and no country can ever hold this over our head and threaten us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco, very much. Thank you. Doing a fantastic job, too. I will tell you that. Doug?
Well, sir, today is a day of gratitude, and we're grateful, first of all, to have a president that understands the importance of this industry and understand that our future depends on restoring American mining. And I'm also grateful that we've got students, educators, and industry leaders together in this room for the first time, we think, in the history that any president has called this group together. So again, thank you all for being here for this historic day. It's true the president has supported American mining more than any other president in history. And it's true that with the announcements made today, he's now supported mining education more than any other president in history. And we owe you a lot for that, Mr. President. We also, when you first took office, you declared an energy emergency, which included critical minerals as part of that. You created the National Energy Dominance Council. We've got some of those partners that are right here, and whether it's Marco with the 27 bilateral agreements, going to 51 countries, whether it's Howard with the trade deals and the investments that are being made, then the National Security Council, David Copley and everybody working on supply chain, Jared Agan and the NEDC doing all of this work. It's a whole of government approach. You understood that we had to turn the ship around. It took every agency, every working together, and your leadership has driven that. Across Interior, it's included the U.S. Geologic Survey. We've got Andrea Travnik here in the front row, who's the Assistant Secretary for Water and Science, which include that. But getting these things like Geologic Survey back to their core mission, which is mapping. The critical minerals list comes out of the U.S. Geologic Survey. We've expanded that to 60 critical minerals, and for the first time, we've put coal back on that list because that's also such an important part of mining. And as you know, President Trump, everybody in your administration is slashing red tape, accelerating permitting, but permits don't build mines, people do. And that's why the investments that are made today related to reimagining the workforce and supporting these institutions are so great. America, it's estimated, graduates more than 30,000 lawyers every year, but you heard the president say less than 200 mining and metallurgical degree students. That has to change with a $100 million historic investment and the other investments announced today. The anticipation and the challenge to those 14 schools that are all here today is to double or triple the number of graduates in the next 2 years. And again, President Trump, even though that those are all amazing things, the most important thing that you've done is you've restored America's belief that we can do big, bold, hard things again. When you were campaigning, you talked about drill, baby, drill, and some people scoffed at that. But under that vision of energy abundance, America now, #1 oil producer, #1 natural gas producer, #1 LNG exporter, all of that in 18 months. This industry is poised to do the exactly same thing, to revive itself and become a world leader. And it's going to be powered by the next generation of American entrepreneurs, engineers, geologists, and skilled miners. And so, President Trump, this group is here. You've proven that we can drill, baby, drill. This group is here to prove that we can mine, baby, mine. And to supporting that, we're going to map, baby, map, and we're going to put American mining back on the map. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And it's something that we maybe should say. We do more oil right now than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined, and that's not including Venezuela. We're getting a lot of oil, and good relationship we have with them too, but a lot of oil. But we do, without even including Venezuela, we're doing more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. Isn't that something? That's a big difference. Howard, please.
So let's be clear. Critical minerals are more than an economic issue. They're a national security issue. If we want to lead in advanced manufacturing, AI, semiconductors, energy, defense, we can't depend on our foreign adversaries for the materials that underpin our industries. We just can't. And that's why the president tasked us to rebuild the supply chain and make it a top priority of his administration and my department. So our objective is very simple. We're going to mine here. We're going to process here, we're going to refine here, we're going to manufacture here, and we're going to create those American jobs right here. So our Section 232 tariffs, right, where we strengthened our steel, our aluminum, and our copper industries, and let's just talk about what that's created. So I have Jesse Gary on my left. I went down to visit his aluminum smelter, and he's building the one in Oklahoma. Oh. Jesse's doing the one in Oklahoma, where he's going to double the aluminum production by the United States of America. So that's pretty amazing.
Great success.
Right, then of course we're doing steel in Alabama. I mean, these are the first types of smelters and furnaces that America's had in 40 or 50 years. And it's only because of your leadership and the 232 tariffs, which you've been driving. So the CHIPS program, right, we gave Korea Zinc $7.4 billion to build a critical minerals smelter right here in the United States. Vulcan Elements, $1.4 billion, also to build right here in the United States. Right? Another, Robert is sitting next to me. We invested in iPulse. That's his high-tech mining company to change the way mining is done. And so we have an investment with him. And the goal, of course, is not just more minerals. It's the full industrial supply chain on American soil. You have to remember, we lost critical minerals not because of free markets. It's because of foreign subsidies, market distortion, export restrictions, stockpiling. These adversaries have just cheated their way to market strength, and we are back and we're fighting it. So we're not going to accept dependence on foreign supplies. We're just not. That's why we're working across the world, as Marco pointed out, to expand our global allies and make sure we're doing it together. So we're going to secure reliable supply. We're going to strengthen our global partnerships, right? We're going to back American companies, and we're going to make sure the United States, not our adversaries, controls the supply chains of power and critical minerals for our country and our future. The bottom line, we need to control our supply chain, and under your leadership, we are executing on that, and it is coming. We will mine, we will process, we will refine right here in America under the Trump presidency.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard, very much. And Cray, where's Cray?
I'm here, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. President, first I want to thank you. This is a historic investment in American mining engineering schools, and we're really grateful. I also want to say thank you for what you've already done towards accelerating permitting for mining in the United States. It's really been unbelievable, and you've created pathways for industry. And now, in order to achieve American mineral dominance, we really need technology and talent. And your American mining schools are ready to get to work, so thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you so much for your leadership. I think the message of the day is we need to mine, refine, and make things in America. And I'm pleased to report to you, actually, because this has been a call to action from you for a long time to make magnets. I'm pleased to show you actually, these are magnets that we made at MP for GM.
Good.
These magnets were mined and refined in the state of California and made in the state of Texas, 100% American made. And thanks to your leadership, we are scaling up that facility. We're going to triple the capacity, so we're delivering magnets to GM today. Next year, we'll be delivering magnetics to Apple. And then from there, we're going to 10x our capacity as a result of our public-private partnership together. We're going to increase capacity for American industry, which, as you mentioned earlier, is going to be the American taxpayer has already benefited. It'll be great for national security. It's really a win-win-win, sir. And lastly, that facility is going to be north of $1 billion of investment and a couple thousand jobs. So we really are making a lot of progress thanks to your leadership. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jim. Great job. That's so important, what you're doing. Very, very important. Those are the ones I'd be looking at if I were in your world. And thank you.
Thank you.
Is Paul Johnson right here? Right?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm here. Mr. President, I'm Paul Johnson, President of Colorado School of Mines. We are the #1 ranked program in the world. We're the largest program in the United States. And we are very, very excited about the investments that you're making. It's pretty hard to go anywhere in the world and not run across somebody with a mines connection. Secretary Burgum's experts in critical materials, over 200 of them will be moving to the mines campus in about 6 months. So we'll be looking forward to welcoming you there for that particular ceremony. I wanted to thank you for two things. One is thank you for the investment in the mining schools. Our expertise has atrophied over time, particularly in the processing space, and this investment is going to make a big difference. Second thing is, while the majority of, I think, programs have sort of shrunk over time, we've actually grown over the last 2 years. And I want to thank you because I attribute that growth to you and your administration's highlighting of critical minerals in the press and the amazing team that you have working through Interior and Energy, other folks. It has really, I think, made families feel like this is a field that their children can go into. And I think that's the start of getting things done there. The other thing I want to thank you for is the investment you just announced in mines in our commercialization hub. I've always had this dream of having a facility, and we have a 50,000 square foot facility that could be dedicated to technology, taking it from ideas to pilot scale to commercialization in a very quick period of time. And your investment in us in doing that is going to enable us to be able to do that. We're up for the challenge. We're really excited for it. We were doing the happy dance a little earlier when we found out, when we heard your announcement, and really look forward to doing what we can for the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Victoria?
Mr. President, you have brought mining back to America, single-handedly, you and your administration, and we wanted to thank you for your enduring support. I run Resolution Copper, which is one of the largest undeveloped copper deposits in the world. It is in a forgotten part of Arizona called the Copper Corridor, and it is, we've already invested $3 billion, so they were ready to go, but we started permitting in 2005. And if it were not for your administration, we finally got it over the line in this year, earlier this year. So we have 4,000 people that will work at our facility, 4,000 miners. We hope to work closely with the mining schools and hire many of the students that will be graduating. $1 billion every year for 60 years invested into the economy. And we also have a smelter. And I think that's the thing that makes it very unique. We can keep everything in the United States and a host of critical mineral co-products as well. Right. So thank you again on behalf of Rio Tinto, BHP, and the hundreds of underground miners who are absolutely fabulous that run the mine today. Thank you very much. We are rolling in drill rigs, we are rolling in equipment, and we're getting on with it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great. I don't think you're going to need too much luck. Tom and David, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, I'm a very, very proud former alumni of the University of Alaska Fairbanks School of Mines. So on behalf of all the faculty here, the students here, I am thrilled with all of your announcements today. I mean, we've all been frustrated over decades. You're making something happen. I really appreciate that. My first mining job was in Alaska, staking the claims near the Ambler District. And we were in a rush then. This was 1975, 1976. And it's still not permitted. Thank you for breaking that logjam. I have present to you a gift to the American people. on a project that I've been very involved with. It's deep sea nodules. Like you, I'm a fan of gold, and this is a solid gold replica of a deep sea nodule. Now, I wish the nodules down the deep sea had a lot of gold in them that may be more attractive, but they do contain 20 critical metals. And these are 20 critical metals that are going to be needed for the reindustrialization of America. They're going to be needed for defense purposes. They're going to be needed for all the technologies that we are relying on and every single citizen of the United States take for granted. That should be a key part of the supply chain, and that's what mining can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Where's the gold? Come on, bring it up.
Pass it down.
I want the gold. He just said, let me see what it looks like. It should be very heavy. It's the heaviest.
The gold is more fun.
Let me see. It is? It's heavy.
It's real.
That's fantastic. Oh, I like that too, huh? This is so valuable. I don't know, do you have a lot of competition, I hope? Because people have to go after. This is so, people have no idea how valuable that is. Thank you very much, fellas. It's really beautiful. Please, David.
And as somebody who joined the Trump administration from the mining industry, I just want to say that absolutely nobody supports our industry more than President Trump. So for decades, we've felt ignored by Washington, and we've seen our industry outsourced to our geopolitical competitors. So I'm so grateful to work for you, because you get it and you understand that this industry is foundational to our economic and national security. So thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership on these issues. And I know from all of us here in industry that we are committed to building the world's best mining sector here in the United States and reestablishing American mineral dominance. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, my friend.
Well, the mining industry has no greater friend than President Trump. He's obviously, everybody knows he's the greatest deal maker in the world, but what he's doing here today is bigger than any deal or one deal or two deals. This is generational. He is focusing on the next generation of miners. That is something that has never been done before by a president of the United States. He is single-handedly today going to change the entire next generation of mining in America, and he is making America the center of energy dominance for the world. So thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much, and great. Would you like to say anything, fellas? Good-looking guys here.
Mr. President, this is a truly historic occasion to bring America back to the leadership of mining, which built this building and which built this country. We've been sleepwalking through many administrations, and this is a revolution that will just electrify the millions of people in the United States that understand that everything you touch, we either mined it or we grew it agriculturally. And the people that are the farmers really need everything the miners produce to help them farm. So this is critical to our national security. We're elated with your support, and we're going to use Yankee ingenuity to prove that we can dominate the supply chain again, rather than have that used by other nations against us. Thank you for that.
You know, you used the word sleepwalking. That's what our country was doing with respect to mining, and many other things too, by the way, but sleepwalking, it's a great word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. This is so exciting to see this attention. You know, I'll just say thank you for your attention to this matter, as you like to end your posts. It's awesome, and we're here and we're ready to go. So thank you.
Well, I just want to thank you very much. This is an honor for me to be here. I love what you do. Doug made a terrible mistake before when he said coal. I said, you have to always precede it by saying, clean, beautiful coal. He made a speech once, and it was a great speech, but he took me very much, you know, at the word. He said, clean, beautiful coal. He mentioned coal about 40 times, and he kept saying, clean, beautiful coal. I said, okay, that's enough, that's enough. But it needs a little public relations help, but it doesn't need so much anymore. We're producing more coal now than just about ever before. It's firing up our great plants, and certain types of plant. There's, you know, nothing like it. And we were out of that business. If you would have seen the people suffer, and some of you were those people. I believe some of you were the people, but this great big coal deposits, and you couldn't touch them. If you touched them, you were like a bad person. They put you in jail. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And, you know, China's smart, and they're using coal. They're building 58 coal plants right now, generating plants, all coal. They don't have too much wind. You know, they sell us wind turbines, but they don't use too many of them, so it's because they're smart. They sell them, but they don't use them. They have one that's pretty big. Doesn't work. It just is for purposes of show. When they go to look at a turbine, they go and show them, and here we are, but they never work. So it's crazy. But clean, beautiful coal is something special. It's all very special, and we're back in the mining business, and I'm very proud of the country. I'm very proud of what you do. You really do. I said before walking in, these are the people that really built America, and you were not treated properly, but we're making up for lost time. You're being treated very properly right now. So I just want to thank everybody. Great honor to be with you. Thank you. Congratulations.
The President of the United States hosting a roundtable on American mining, calling the United States of America the mineral superpower of the world. This live stream broadcast brought to you by some great sponsors, including mypillow.com/RSBN. You know, going into the weekend, maybe you're looking for an extra pillow or sheets or all sorts of stuff. Well, mypillow.com is a great spot to find some of those great products. Use the RSBN promo code. You'll get a great discount as well. Speaking of Right Side Broadcasting Network, if you'd like to donate to the network, all you have to do is go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate. It's 3:45 on the East Coast, 12:45 out there on the West Coast. Thanks so much for watching from coast to coast, including the great Central and Mountain time zones, and anywhere else you're watching this live stream or maybe on replay. For all of us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you again soon.